Hey YouTube, today we're going to be looking at Astral Projection, the Psychonaut's Manual by Karlsson. This is, I believe, the last book I have from Karlsson that I have yet to review. So I wanted to go ahead and get this one on the channel. It's my most recent read and one that I have had for a while. But just with everything going on in life, I haven't really had time to sit down and read it. So I wanted to remedy that, and then, of course, share my impressions of this book with you all. I think this was either I think this was the second book I purchased from the author, just to see what the book entailed. Astral projection is something I've always been curious about, and it seemed like, with the title of the Psychonaut's Manual, I figured it would be very in-depth with a lot of steps on how to get started and how to maybe enter some more advanced practices with astral projection. I can also say that some people have recommended other books that are more probably in line with what I was thinking of when I got this book. But I will mention all that to say this is by no means a bad book or missing information or anything like that, but I will say that in the beginning of the book I was a little bit put off, just because it starts with an astral stroll through Stockholm, which is fine, but it's basically like a 20-page short story, which didn't really hold my interest, and I just kind of wanted to get into, basically page 75, where it talks about how to begin practicing and preparing your mind for astral travel. So we'll go through and we'll flip through the stroll through Stockholm. Talks about the author's little personal journey that he went through, and then we get into some of the historical aspects of astral travel and the idea of a soul. And I thought this was very interesting because, with my previous Christian background growing up, I always like to see what other groups or, I guess groups is probably the best way to describe it, how other people think of a soul and what it is. And I enjoyed this section of the book as well. It's very hard to keep this book open. But essentially, when you get through to gateways into the astral realm, it talks about relaxation, rest, and consciousness expansion. I think one of the things that I've noticed in myself is I don't remember my dreams 85-90% of the time at all. But also with my job situation, I've had a great reduction of stress in that realm. So relaxation has come easier, rest has come easier, and I've been able to sleep longer. So I feel like I can devote more time currently to this type of exploration. Meditation is also a big part of it, something that I need to get into more of myself. It talks about meditation as a way to prepare for astral travel. And let's see if there's some other sections here. It talks about the chakras and how they can be applied to preparing for astral travel. Chakras is one of those topics that I am not super well versed on, but I liked the explanation that was given in this book. I feel like it is kind of like the Kabbalah and Qliphoth book that I reviewed a few weeks ago. It's a very good introduction and gives you a basic understanding, and then you can explore from there if you desire to do so. The next part of the book that I thought was very important was the different tools that you can get if you choose to do so. You can also look at being hypnotized to do this type of astral travel. And it talks about brain waves and states of consciousness. So a lot of very good, varied topics. Talks about different types of dreams. Probably my favorite bit of the book so far that we've discussed is more so the visualizations, imagining sounds and smells, shapes, landscapes, and getting into the details of these things. You know, it's one thing to think of an object or a color or a smell, but to trigger a response in your brain can be more difficult for people. And then to visualize it in a way that it's so real you can manipulate it is another thing that doesn't come naturally to a lot of people. Those who are extremely materialistic, or those who don't practice any visualization because they're on their phone all the time. They have everything they could possibly want displayed for them. And that's something that personally I think a lot of people harm themselves with. Being in the here and now, the immediate gratification, as opposed to trying to better themselves. One thing that also comes up a lot is protection during astral travel. There are a few pages that are both mentioned there. Of course, the silver cord or other types of cords or tethers are mentioned quite a bit. And then it gets into some of the the first month, the preparation of meditating and preparing for astral travel, which I think is probably the best part of the book. So I would say that, this is definitely worth picking up and reading and putting into your library. If you're, for lack of a better term, in a hurry, I guess, maybe skip to page 75, where it really, it's the second half of the book where it really starts talking more so about astral travel, what it is and how to do it, as opposed to the history. The history is very important, but if you're wanting something that's purely hands-on how-to, there's probably other books for it. But this is by no means, again, this is not a bad book, and I'm definitely going to keep it in my collection. So if you've read this one, or if you have other guides or recommendations for astral travel, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and thanks for watching.